few reasons of why I find myself here is because I was very thrilled with the sort of an open call that was given out by the Living Archive to react upon some very general questions, and as you know, general questions are always most tough to be answered. So it was quite intriguing and laying on my laptop for quite some time until I actually sent it. So, and most of the questions I still hadn't answered, I think, because it takes really so much thinking. And even after dealing with the archive for quite a number of years now, I find myself still really puzzled when asked, what do you think a living archive is? It actually poses in question what is going on with the archive, who is having the archives, are there archives at all, how can we reference the history? What we have dealt with from 2005 onwards and from 2006 even more diligently in the framework of DIVA Station, Digital Video Archive Station, is basically how to categorize the material and how to find taxonomies. I think that we chose a very, I would say, Venetian, Vienna school of methodology, strict, trying to find taxonomies in a very strict way, because it's the only possibility if you're departing from basic mode of criterion, or a discrimination criterion, as I would call it, is that we keep ourselves in frameworks of to some extent the nation, and that addresses also the Living Archive, which comes from the post-Yugoslav situation, is actually how do we deal with the archive in general, what does it mean when we have a country that used to have a common history, but now it's sparse and we deal with specific national environments. We have some cases with the artists with which we are somewhat, to some extent, affiliated. It would be the case of Art Fem TV by Evelyn Stermitz, who was also a guest here at Red Dawn's, I think, 2 years ago. And what she had done is an astonishing work of how to gather or collect video materials and present it online. It's kolektiva.org, which is Vesna Bukovic, Lada Cerer, and Metka Zupanic. And as you know, Vesna Bukovic is presenting her solo work also at the Alcatraz Gallery at the moment. But otherwise what they do is video screenings, and what they would employ and what is possible when we speak about the Living Archive, it's possible nowadays when we have network communities that we actually build upon a very personal interaction which they had presented just recently by Femling, the International Video Collage, which was an initiative that had spread not via an open call so much as by the very personal invitations to some network of people, which so that the plurality of the artists participating is really wide, and they had like participants from African countries, which usually never happen in very restricted discourse of Western art, where it would only pay attention to affirming its own local context. But it's, of course, when you do an archive, you have to maybe choose that point of view, but I think it's a good suggestion to work in this network communities. But now I would like to look at the archive a little bit wider, not so much from this practical point of view, but what is actually an archive, and what has been suggested is that it is everything what we can talk about, everything that can be named, that can be said, is actually already an archive. This brings a big question of the relation between this material archives and the fact that anything, any cultural value is basically an archive, and it maybe gives it too wide of a range, but still. I think that a few cases that I will now point out of women behaving really, really badly on the internet is a very important feminist statement, and it's really peculiar than if we know early internet artists, there are a lot of women or women identities that are defined as some of the most significant players in asserting internet as a space of production of art, and also having they were the ones who had predicted of how wide of an impact that is going to have on our society. She has been working with very basic GIF. She did not imply coding, but at the same time she did really early on started to play with internet art. How we are performing our digital bodies, we must bear in mind that that was the same time when cyberfeminism was also the predominant discourse. So it was really significant for these women how they performed.